Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back. So before I begin today's video, I just gotta say thank you for the love that you shown the previous video that I made about PayPal. That video got like literally 10x the views of any of the other videos that I made recently. So clearly this is a stock that you guys really want to hear about, that you guys care passionately about. And I'm super happy to talk about it some more if that's what you guys want. Especially since if you watch my portfolio reveal video, you would know that I have personal skin in the game in PayPal shares and in the form of PayPal call options. So let me just address the elephant in the room, okay? So was I wrong about PayPal? Now, the stock, of course, went down after the earnings report. So I'm sure that people get super emotional about these things. And on my last video, most people were bullish, but some people were bearish. And I just want to say it's absolutely okay to disagree with me, and I welcome disagreement, but please use logic and actual good counter arguments to justify what you believe in instead of just calling me or other commenters names, because that just makes you look like a clown, okay? So let me just say that. Now, I know there's going to be some bears that feel like they've won some great battle and they feel really vindicated right now, and if that's you, go right ahead, celebrate for now, and let's see how it turns out long term, right? So let's talk about the facts, okay? Now, PayPal beat slightly on revenue. Let's just call it a small beat, even though it was sort of in line, but it was slightly a beat. They did come in exactly in line on EPS, and their guidance was also either in line or slightly above expectations. So if you look at the actual income statement, which I guarantee you most people who are bearish, who are going to leave a bearish negative comment in the comment section, they will not actually look at the income statement. Okay, so if you look at the income statement, year over year, the operating expenses barely increased while revenue increased from 6.8 billion to 7.28 billion in the same 3-month quarter compared to last year. So because their operating expenses didn't really go up, it went from 6.04 billion to 6.15 billion, so barely an increase. Most of the increased revenue does get passed on to the operating income, and I really like to see that. I think that's a really good sign. Also, keep in mind that PayPal is still buying back shares. So they announced on their earnings report that their 2023 share repurchase plan is now expected to reach $5 billion worth of shares. So given that PayPal's market cap is going to be under $80 billion as of tomorrow, market open, assuming that it doesn't go back up to where it closed, that's like a 6 or 7% of the outstanding shares that PayPal is going to buy back this year. It was a pretty good quarter, actually, if you ask me. Did they absolutely smash it out of the park? Was it an absolutely amazing quarter? No, it wasn't, right? So it was slightly above expectations. Maybe some people would say it's a mediocre quarter, and I think that's even too harsh. I would say that, again, it's a slightly above average quarter, slightly above expectation quarter, rather. So it was not a bad quarter by any means. And I think that the people who are bearish, they're not going to listen to that, right? They're not going to listen to the facts. They're going to spin it like somehow this quarter was a disaster when that's just not the case. They only look at the price and they see that the price is down. They assume this quarter must have been a disaster. That's not the case at all. There's something that you got to understand if you want to succeed in the realm of investing, which is that the price can do anything, okay? So especially in the short term, the price can do absolutely anything. The price can be totally disconnected from reality. And that's what we're trying to find, right? These kind of opportunities where the price doesn't match the value. What was that old Buffett saying? I think he said that in the short term, the stock market is a voting machine, and in the long term is a weighing machine, right? Something like that. I might not have gotten that quote exactly right, but you guys get the gist. Just because a stock is going down doesn't mean that it's a garbage company. And just because a stock is going up, that doesn't mean it's a great company, right? So if that's what you believe in, if you go by that logic, then you're going to be buying high and selling low every single time, because whenever a stock goes up, you're going to think, oh, this is such a great company, I got to buy in right now. And every time a stock goes down, you're going to be like, this is a garbage company, I got to sell it. Therefore, you, by definition, will always buy high and sell low, which is the quickest way to go bankrupt. So don't do that, guys. You got to understand that when I get into a stock, me personally, I'm looking years and years out in advance into the future. Unless it is a swing trade, sometimes I do that as well, and I will explicitly tell you that if it's a swing trade, but in this case it's not, right? In PayPal's case, I am looking years and years out into the future, and the earnings report matters, but it doesn't affect my thesis until I see something that's actually alarming in the report, which is not the case here at all in this quarter with PayPal. Because, like I said, I actually think this quarter was pretty great. It wasn't absolutely amazing. They didn't absolutely smash it out of the park, but it was a pretty good quarter. Okay, and given that I go into it with a long-term sort of view, the stock price can go up or down, and it doesn't really matter to me, right? I'm not bothered by the fact that PayPal shares went down after hours at all, right? Because, in fact, it makes me happy because I can pick up more cheap PayPal shares. If you really want to analyze why PayPal went down today specifically, well, I recommend you zoom out a bit and look at the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 in general today. So in case you weren't paying attention, there was another piece of news, not related to PayPal specifically, but to the whole economy, that was rather shocking and negative in terms of, prompting the markets to go red. So in case you missed the news, that was Fitch, the famous rating agency, has downgraded the US debt rating. So I'll make a separate video for that as to what exactly that means. But just to briefly summarize, countries have credit ratings just like how individuals have credit scores. And Fitch was not too happy about the whole debt ceiling debacle and how the US government always plays this game of chicken between, especially the two parties when they're fighting among each other. They're always trying to push the country closer and closer towards default every time in order to gain political favor. I'm sure I'm not an American, but I'm just watching from the side here in Canada, and I can only imagine how frustrating it is for an American citizen watching this, right? And I'm feeling the frustration too, because even though I'm not American, I invest in American markets, and that's already frustrating to me just from an investor's perspective. But yeah, I'm sure that you guys would say that this downgrade was not completely unjustified, right? They have their sort of thesis as well. I'm not going to get into that. As I said, I'm going to make a separate video on this downgrade news, but this news was not good news. The point is that this news was not good news for the stock market, and that's why everything pulled back today. So the sentiment going into earnings was not good to begin with today. So if you look at the earnings of other companies who reported, well, what happened to their stock afterwards? Robinhood reported a double beat on revenue and EPS. The EPS, they were expected to actually lose money, but they actually reported a profitable quarter. And I think that usually this is a huge deal this is a big deal in the bullish direction, right? When a company converts from losing money into making money, that's a big catalyst for the upside. And I think that that kind of conversion between GAAP profitability and non-profitability and losing money, jumping from losing money to making money, is what prompted Palantir to have its bull run. And when Palantir did that, they went from $7 a share, and then now I think it's $17 or $18 per share. But yeah, apparently you would think that this is good news for Robinhood, but no, Robinhood stock is down. And if you look at Shopify, it beat on revenue, and it beat pretty massively on EPS. It was actually relatively shocking how much they beat on EPS. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if there's a specific reason, but yeah, it was a big beat on EPS. But the stock went down after hours. So, if you think that PayPal is garbage, just because the price went down. Well, is Shopify also garbage, even though they beat on revenue and a massive beat on EPS, right? I think the sentiment in the stock market right now is just down. So unless you have like really absolutely blowout numbers, it's going to be a sort of buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. So even though the news was all right, it wasn't maybe as good as the market sentiment was hoping for in order to push it upwards, because the sentiment is sort of bearish right now. Admittedly, I did say that since I thought PayPal had already been beaten down quite a bit year to date, I was hoping that a slight beat would be enough to propel the stock upwards. But this is why in the same sentence in the last video that I made about PayPal, I recommended against trading earnings. Because when you're trading earnings, you can be right about the earnings themselves, right? Whether they beat or they miss, which I was right, by the way. I said they were going to beat, and they did beat on both revenue and guidance. EPS came in line though. But yeah, I was mostly right. But you can be right on the earnings themselves, but you can still be wrong in the direction of the stock. But once again, I'm not in this stock to swing trade it, all right? And I'll be continuing to monitor the situation around PayPal. And if there's any new developments, I'll let you guys know. But so far, I'm not seeing anything alarming. It's smooth sailing as usual, at least for now. And yeah, I'm not going to make any moves with PayPal. If I had some spare money, I would actually considering picking up more PayPal right now. But yeah, I'm a little short on investable cash because basically right now I'm like almost all in the market. So yeah, if I had more cash, I would definitely consider picking up more shares of PayPal. And I would definitely not be selling PayPal. Let me just tell you that, okay? So anyways, that's it for today's video. If you like the video, be sure to give this video a like and press the subscribe button if you like this channel. Be sure to also follow me on Twitter, or rather X as is now called. I'll leave a link down below for that in the description as well. So thank you for your time and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.